Aloha from Maui. If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. So today I want to talk about something that comes up a lot in spiritual work. It's a big concern that I hear about all the time, and it doesn't really come up so much in my work with clients privately, but I hear it in classes, and it's just in the spiritual zeitgeist, something that just always presents itself. And that's this idea of evil spirits and bad mojo and demons and curses and that kind of stuff. So let me start by saying that remember that we live, the backdrop of our psychology, of our sociology, is still a Christian one. And that means that the idea that, that something bad can happen to us unless we behave a certain way, banishment and exile and torture and all that stuff that goes along with a belief in hell, which is not a belief that I'm big on. That's very much still there. That's still very much there, as well as just a fear of evil, as if that is something that that can just take you over, and that's not really the way it works at all. So, in terms of your body and your aura, the 3 feet around you, your energy field, that which is yours. I remember working with a shaman, and he said in Portuguese, he was in Brazil, and he said, you have your body and the 3 feet around you, and that is yours to do with what you will, and the universe can have everything else. So this space is yours, and you hold sovereignty and autonomy over it. So if something were to enter, something that you don't want were to enter, that is because you have some sort of complicity with it. So one of the principles in the Huna tradition, the esoteric translation of the word mana from the Hawaiian tradition, is all power comes from within. All power comes from within. So that means that if you're allowing something in, you have some sort of complicity with it, and the power within you granted power over you. Let me say that again. The power within you has granted power over you. So that's a really important idea. Now, sometimes the complicity is, of course, not conscious. It's unconscious. I remember working with a client who felt that she was being haunted or cursed by an ex-boyfriend, and she had committed crimes with this person, white-collar crimes, and she had since freed herself. She'd gone to jail. She'd freed herself from this person, and she felt like he still had a hold on her, which I know is not really how it works. But I worked with her when I was doing a lot more shamanic healing as opposed to counseling, which is primarily what I do now. And she also said that he practiced voodoo, that he practiced the dark arts, and so she felt like he had the power to have a hold on her. And as I was working on her, I was sort of at her head, and I saw at her feet a kind of cartoon Count Chocula vampire, just hovering at her feet, that looked sort of ridiculous. And I said, "There's a vampire here." And she said, "That's him." She said, "That's him. He was into vampires. That's him." And so this thing seemed so inconsequential. In my mind, I told it to fuck off, and it just dissipated. It just ran away. It was nothing. And as soon as it dissipated, she began crying, and she said, "I miss him. I miss him." And it wasn't at all that he had power over her. It was that on some level she was holding something about him within her, and felt that was the power over her. And so it was really another level of releasing him, because she had an unconscious complicity with his dark energy, with his bad energy. There's another story that comes from the shamans in Africa that a shamanic teacher told me who did an apprenticeship with some of the shamans there. And I guess some of the shamans in Africa are not very nice and do practice dark magic. But what he told me, what he found out, was that more than anything, those shamans were master manipulators. Meaning that they didn't actually practice the dark arts, because to run the kind of negativity and the destructive energy necessary to actually cause harm to another is so unhealthy. You'd be running such dark energy, such toxic energy through your system if you were going to actually be effective at that. That those shamans, the dark shamans, they weren't stupid enough to actually do that. But what they would do is that they would tell their victims that they were going to curse them, and they would let the victims do it to themselves. So if the victim has a belief that something has dominion and has the ability to curse, we create that in ourselves. So all power comes from within, and what happens in here is yours solely. This also manifests itself in real life in terms of predatory energy among humans. So if you think of, if you want to just attune for a moment with the idea of a predator, predators they're opportunistic. They're good at what they do, which means that they are assessing the energy field, the behavior of their prospective victim. And what they're looking for is the victim who doesn't necessarily have access to a full-throated no, who is a little bit out of their bodies or very out of their bodies, who tends to empathize on reflex before really discerning what it is that I'm empathizing with. Any way in which we are too much out of ourselves, we leave a space. So if I am continually empathizing with something outside of myself, and that's how I'm oriented to feel into the other before myself, I create a hole or a space in my energetic field, in my aura, that can be filled with something else. And predators pick up on that space. And then something can come in. And a lot of times with women, this is particularly important and a particularly pervasive dynamic, because women are taught to be polite and to be accommodating, and they go into the world with a romanticized version that they will always be cared for or not harmed. That would be the moral thing for everyone to do, and that's just simply not the case. And so predators pick up on that. So more than anything else, remember that you have autonomy over your space, and that on some level, if something wants to come in, you have some vested interest in that thing being there. Now, last thing I'll say, that sounds counterintuitive. Why would I want something dark anywhere near me? Sometimes we have a comfortability with darkness. Sometimes we're used to it. Sometimes we have experiences in the past of coping with it or dealing with it. And so a sense of darkness being near or around us doesn't feel as dangerous or cause as much alertness or activation as someone who does not have that comfortability with darkness or danger. So that's something that you have to look at too. But again, the idea is that nothing can come in without an invitation. This is the second time I've used the third time on these videos that I've used a vampire example, which is really not where I tend to live, but it's helpful. The story of Dracula is that Dracula needs to be invited into the home before he can cause his damage. So I hope that helps. Enjoy your day, and don't be so scared of the dark energies. You have much more dominion and authority over your space. Aloha.